Okay, Gavotte from Mignon. We'll start with the exercises, which are on page 22 of the book. And what we want to remember, of course, is we're doing B flat scale, that entire page of B flat, and we have these low ones that come back. And we want to make sure that as the low one comes back, the rest of your hand doesn't move this way, so that we have the 3 still in the place where it's going to be. So if you took your hand, like you're holding a ball in your hand, the fingers resting, and just drop your 3 on the tape on the A string, we want to make sure that position doesn't move as we go back. And what we have in Gavotte from Mignon is alternating between the low one and the regular one, keeping the 3, 4, and 2 in the same place. So that's the first exercise. So we put the 1 on the A string, and we will play 1. 1 stays down, 3, high 2, 4, and then keeping 2 and 4 down, we're going to move the 1 down, reach it back, keeping the hand in place. And now we'll play low 1, lifting but keeping everything above where it was. We put the same 3 down, the same high 2, the same 4. So I'm going to do that one more time. So the hand is relaxed and we've got all that space there, but the shape is staying the same. And you'll see where that comes in Gavotte from Mignon. It actually comes in measure 22 and 23 for the first time, and then later in the piece also. Now the other thing we have here is trills, these little ornaments, and the other exercise is for this trill. We put the 1 on the E string, and we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 with that sense of rhythm. So we're going to put the bow in the middle. And we want to make sure that's really even. And that gets you ready for, and that's what that starts to speed up past that in the exercise. But we'll focus just now on 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay, so Gavotte from Mignon. I'm going to start in the middle of the bow. Open A. Lots of toe sound. Toe, toe, toe. A, 3, 1, 3. B. Now we're going to use 4 here. Circle. That's the way you want to start it, in groups of 4 that way. And probably practice just that first section. First measure, then adding the second measure. Now I'm going to just keep playing. I'm going to start again at the beginning. Here we have a choice of 4 or 3. We're going to use 3, I think is good. Reaching the 3. Circle. 4 is prepared. Circle. Now this time it changes 1, 1, 3, A, 1, 3. So that's the end of the first section. So the first time we have three, four, two. The second time one. And notice when I'm doing that 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, very little bow, slow bow staying below the middle of the bow, and making sure we don't hang on the first note with the dot. So we don't go, but we want to go. Okay, so I'm going to play that whole first section one more time. High 3. Now we circle. Now here's the next part. A, 2, 1, high 2. Rest. Now here's the part that corresponds to our first exercise. Now I'm going to reach back for low 1, and then everything else is the same. Okay, so at the beginning of this, I'm going to do it again from the beginning of that section, the pickup notes to 17, measure 17. Now, notice we have 2 notes slurred, 2 notes separate. Now, notice the rest right here. Rest. So we have that little rest, it's like a comma, and that's measure 20. I'm going to go on, triple it. So in measure 21, we want to make sure that 3, 4, 3 with the triplet, the 3 notes grouped together, is really even. So again, going into 21. Reaching back, always stopping the bow to carefully set fingers is very important. Now right here, up, and here we need to really group these 4 notes and count. It does it 3 times and then it changes. And in order to avoid adding or taking away a note, we need to make sure we're counting. So from measure 24, 1, 2, 3. Now stop. Prepare your 1 from B flat to go back to B, and then we go 1, 2, 3. So it's very important that you practice that with those stops, counting each 3 and stopping to prepare for the high position. Going on, it's exactly the same as the beginning. That's the end of the first section. Now we come to the middle part. And notice that again we have one of these rests. So what we do is, instead of playing, we want to make sure that rest gets in there in measure 35. So here we go. So it's going to be long, short. Long, short. Here's another place where we have to count. 1, 2, 3, and then the pattern changes. 1, 2, 3. So in the beginning, only 4 notes at a time with a stop, so you can really feel those groups. Now, going back to measure, let's see, the pickup to measure 36. You notice now we have, we have long, short, low 1 here. Now this right here we should isolate and slow down and practice just for what's happening with the left hand. Very important that the left hand doesn't come out here. And then you have to come back and find the 4. You want to avoid that. So I'm right before I'm in measure 36. We're going to practice 2, 3, 4, low 1. When the 4 lifts, it should stay. 3 and 4 should stay as close as possible, because then we're coming back 4, 3, 2, 3. So again, that's another set of fingers, the 3 and 4 in that case, that we have to make sure don't change because we're going back with the 1. So we don't want the hand to collapse like that. We want the 1 to reach back, and the 3 and 4 are staying there. So 3 and 4 still there, and the 1 staying down. Now 2 on the D string, 2, low 1, 3, 2, A, 3, low 1. Notice that when we're playing these low 1s, I'm just keeping it in place down there and not letting it come up and then have to go back. So we're thinking in groups of notes. Low 1 stays. Even as I lift it, it's going to stay. So it's prepared here. Long, short. Then we go on, it's like the beginning again. One, two. That measure 61, that's called a grand pause. It's just a rest. And in this case, we want to just count 1, 2, the 2 beats. So it's like everything stops there suddenly in the piece. There's total silence, and then you keep going. Now this is a little coda section beginning after the grand pause. Circle. 4, 3, circle. We have up, to take you to the frog, just like in Gavotte. The first finger extends out, just like Gavotte, and we pluck. We're going to put one on the E string and put the first finger to pluck, remember, down on the fingerboard, not up here. And we're going to pluck from the D string, A string, and E string, dragging your finger sort of across. Pluck a little bit diagonally toward you, just a little bit toward you. And then I'm going to take the first finger, hop it over, put the 2 down, and then pluck from the G string, all 4 strings. So we should practice putting the 1 down on E, putting the finger on the D string, and getting from here to here, where we go 1 and 2, and then over to the G string. So again, 1 on the E string, 1 and 2, and if you sort of have this circular motion as you come across, it will ring a lot, okay? Make sure you pay attention in those last 2 lines to exactly where the pizzicato begins, because it's easy to have it begin a little too early. But I'm going to play it again from measure 61, 62, 63, the second part of 63. So, circle. That's how it sounds when you put it all together. Notice that the toe sound is there, and I'm always thinking always to the end of each of these little phrases. So, from here to there. That's where we're going. And then from here to there, from here to there. Always leading to the end, and then... And if you think in these little groups, each one sort of is a little bit more. So not only are we leading to the end of each group, but we're thinking about each group leading to the next one. I'm going to play it all the way through now from the beginning, and hopefully you can hear some of that in what I'm doing. And I'm going to just play all the way through without talking now.